I founded Synapsery in 2017 out of my own need. I had a daughter that was born with cerebral palsy and then later diagnosed with autism and epilepsy. And as I began to navigate this world of neurodiverse children and parents that had neurodiverse children, I found that it was much more difficult, challenging, and isolated than I'd ever dreamed. Lighting, loud noises, and especially a lot of people will send her into a meltdown that sometimes it's very difficult to bring her out. So it was so hard to get up in the mornings and get her dressed. Finally, I would get her dressed, get her to the car, we'd get to church, then I would get her back to the children's area, and they would try to put her in a room with neurotypical children. And so I decided to just quit going to church. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to solve this problem. So I designed a sensory and motor room, and we put it in a church in St. Louis. And since then, we have 20 sensory and motor rooms in churches. They're not just a babysitting place. It's therapeutic play. Every item in our room produces some kind of sensory input that gives the child sensory regulation so they leave better than they came.
Everything that the world has thrown at her, everything she's gone through, she has not allowed herself to be bitter about it, but she's truly just hit it with a full bore of love and patience and work.
We've put them in churches and schools, and we're getting just remarkable results. I recently had a principal that called me from the Jennings School District, and she was telling me how she's really struggled in the past with suspensions. She's suspending 4th to 6th graders, 30 a month. And when she called me, she said, I have to tell you that since we put your sensory and motor room back in the fall, we have had no suspensions. In the past 3 months, there had been no suspensions. In 2020 and COVID, we all know how difficult that was. But for a mother with a neurodiverse child, it was overwhelming. So I had the idea to develop a calming kit. So I took 5 items that were sensory regulating that actually gave input to the proprioceptive sensory system and the vestibular sensory system. So this kit is not just a bag of fidgets. We donate our calming kits to the police to put in their cars. So when they're approaching our children, they will approach and have an interaction that's successful because they're using regulating tools.
I've walked into stores that I've never been into and I see a Synapsery calming kit, and that's incredible because it's there because of her. And that's helping countless families, countless individuals do life without extra stress.
I'm so glad we've raised awareness, but I'm so glad that we're not just educating you about the diagnosis, but we're helping you cope with the diagnosis. And that's what I feel like Synapsery does.